At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Old School with DP and J.
And, this part of camp it happens in high school camp, when they have a certain amount of time before their game, before school starts and all that. And then it happens in college and it happens in the pros. I had more fights with some of my good friends, the guys that I'm considered lifelong friends at this point in camp, than with some, over-energized rookie trying to make a name for himself. Seriously.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos here after a Husker victory on Saturday, which was I'll tell you what, the morning, Pierson-El, it felt like a 11 a.m. morning game out there in West Lafayette. It really came down to exactly what we thought heading into it. There's going to be a little bit of low energy. Are you going to be able to go ahead and provide that energy? It just really was never there the entire time. So with that being said, if you guys want to join in, we're going to talk about that Husker football game in particular early on, and then we will talk about the good, because I don't want to sit here and just be negative the whole time, because I think in years past we do find a way to piss that down our leg. This year they figured it out. There was some actually solid halftime adjustments, and especially that fourth quarter, as you see it, they run up 21 points. So good morning, Pierson-El. I'll bring you in. How's it going on this Monday night?
It's going good, back to Victory Mondays. So, it's a lot to celebrate, a lot to talk about regardless, It went whatever way it went, we still got the dub, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's the part, right? You found a way at the end there not to drop the game. Like, it was nobody was going to be super excited with that start. But, I mean, the offense, I will say, was consistently moving the ball. They just couldn't finish for the life of them. I mean, that's, kind of the thing to circle for how many times you got in enemy territory past the 40, and you're just consistently putting up 0 points. We can get about the special teams, but the offense, same thing. You're giving yourself penalties, multiple, 3rd and 1 situations that turned into 4th and long because of some odd penalty. The Big Ten officiating is just a whole other question mark as well. My Lord, I don't care what team you root for. you're probably tired of the Big Ten officiating because they've burned you once before. I'm almost positive at this point.
Completely.
Yeah.
They got to go to grading school or something. They got to get fined. Like there's got to be some type of there's got to be some answer to this. Like they can't keep letting things slide. Rule can't say anything. I'll say it all they want to. They can't find me. They suck. Suck.
Go ahead. Yeah.
They are causing people to lose hair, to lose jobs. Like it's like, come on now. You gotta hold people accountable. You gotta do upgrades or the grading scale. I understand, people make mistakes and everything like that. But consistently week in and week out, it's bad. Not even like, just in our game, just around the Big Ten, period.
And that's what bothers me is like, man, sometimes if the refs get too involved in a way where if it's, one of those games where the officiating is being a little more stingy and they're calling everything, at least you can adjust to it because it's consistent and it's getting applied on both sides. But when it's just like phantom calls here, random, we're going to really focus on, like, because even, the Fedoni chip.
That offensive PI is the worst call I've probably seen in a while.
No, Fedoni? Yeah, because Banks just got the blocking call, but yeah, I know Fedoni. It was terrible.
Was it OPR or was it blocking?
The Banks was blocking the back. Fedoni was offensive pass interference.
Yeah, I'm talking about the OPI.
Yeah.
You have to touch somebody for it to qualify as offensive pass interference. Look up the definition, please. Like, you have video evidence, multiple angles. You have 4-5 sets of eyes all on it. You call up to the headquarters or wherever, and you still get it wrong. Like, and you honestly, you cause a non-touchdown. You can say whatever, like it stalled the offense. Like, you know what I mean? That like that
6 points off the board.
It's a horrible call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he literally did not touch him. Like you have to touch somebody for OPI or PI in general, and that's the complete opposite. So I mean, I don't know. The definition of insanity is doing a lot of things the same time over and over again, or doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That was a terrible call.
Yeah, I mean, it was awful. Fedoni dips his shoulder just contact. Like, I think that was the point I kind of just like gave up on like the officiating getting better. It's like, all right, guys, you're gonna have to play through it today. I'm like, that you shouldn't have that mindset when watching refs. Like, all right, you're gonna have to, play through the refs. Maybe you'll get some lucky ones, maybe not, but they're gonna have a factor in it. Because like, you can't sit there and say the refs didn't play a role. They certainly played a role. How big is the role is like your part to decide. You don't know. I think Nebraska was a good enough team to where it had to be, multiple egregious calls. But I mean, there was, a block on Banks as well, where it's, he's making sure to round the corner before he even puts a hand on the guy. And that was after the Emmett Johnson reception. And you see Banks, he's sprinting hard at an angle to make sure he doesn't get that call. And he doesn't put his hands on him until he gets enough over around him. And then as soon as he puts one finger, it's like they're just waiting for it. It's frustrating. And the Big Ten's got to figure it out because, like I said, you and me aren't the only people that notice, or not just people in Nebraska notice. Like, everybody in the Big Ten is getting so upset about how bad the officiating is. When you watch SEC tomorrow, Pierson-El, like when you go watch an SEC game, like I don't ever see it this bad. Yeah, there'll be some bad calls, but it's not consistently bad.
Like you might have, some missed calls that'll happen. You might have, some stuff to take the tension out of the air here and there. But overall, like, you never really complain about those type of refs because, they kind of like let the game go on. They warn you a lot and everything like that. And honestly, they're really good on calls. Like, they come together, they talk, they send it up, bring the video out and whatnot. But for majority of the time, like, you can feel like, all right, that's a good call. And even if it is a controversial one, it's like, I get it why it didn't go the other way. Like, I don't feel that comfortable at all with the Big Ten refs. And it's like it's just like, it's like, come on, man. It's like pulling teeth.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that always drives me nuts is like when they bring in the instant review, they'll bring in their pro, their guy who really understands the book really well. What's that?
I said, and you still get it wrong. You got different angles, aerial, drones, TV copy, the pylon copy, wrong. It don't matter. It's like, what are you looking at? Take your vitamins, clear your eyes out, do what you need to do, because whatever you've been doing, you still getting it wrong, and that's terrible. You're gonna start costing people games.
Yeah, I mean, I at this point, I almost hope they're making money off the side from it, because otherwise, they just don't know how you're missing calls that badly, that consistently. I mean, it's like I said, I don't want to like bash on them too much, because there is a reality in it that we just do not have enough good refs right now. And there is, for whatever reason, like not very many people are going up through the reffing tree. So, we're not picking from a massive group of crowd, and all of these guys are part-timers as well. Like we've always talked about this, if you're the Big Ten, maybe you fix this by pay those guys more, make it a little bit of a year-round thing, or at least bring them in earlier so you can make sure everybody's on the same page. Because it just feels like every year, in particular at the beginning, you get these kind of results in just about every other game you watch, where you're going to have some just weird call. Hopefully it doesn't really affect the game that much, but you're going to have some where like it absolutely is a massive momentum swing. Like if Purdue was a threatening team, like say their offense found a way to pick it up and that's earlier than what they did in that last drive, that 6 points off the board is massive, considering it's three, or it's not even, it's scoreless heading into halftime. Like that's huge win for Purdue to be in that situation. So yeah, I'm just kind of fed up. That's my rant for it. We could talk about the Nebraska game now, but the refs really just drove me insane. And you think this gets fixed by the end of the year? Do you think this just kind of, I don't know what the solution is?
I mean, everybody, needs practice with things, and everybody, I don't think it'll be as bad as it has been early on and often. I mean, we've seen around college football that kind of controversial touchdown, fumble, whatever. We had one last week. Miami had one this week that was called necessarily, differently. So I mean, with practice and repetition, hopefully it does. It has to go up, right? Like so. I mean, hopefully, it like this is the worst that we are going to see it, and every now and then a couple questionable calls here and there, but I don't think it will be this bad moving forward, especially with, I mean, a lot of the refs are getting criticized, all over. So, especially, if the Big Ten comes back and be like, no, they had it wrong or whatnot. I know they have a grading scale with things and whatnot, and depending on how stuff is, how good you are, you get, some of these bigger games with a lot more initiative and stuff. So, like I said, it should be better. Now, how much better, we don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll be better simply just because, I mean, they're getting put on notice. I think it's just more and more people are getting upset with kind of some of these. And yeah, like I said, it's not all their fault. There's not enough people out there that want to ref anymore. And mainly because there's people like us yelling at them for everything. So, right, there's two sides of the coin there. But I will say, when you're pumping that much money into it, it is a little bit different than just calling your local high school football game. You got to get stuff right. With that being said, let's actually talk about the Husker football team. Leave the refs alone, because I think it was a longer than needed rant on it. I mean, just give me your quick synopsis on how you felt the game really went, because it's bizarre. It's first half was more than ugly. In the second half, really mid third quarter to fourth quarter, then it felt like it finally clicked, but it took a long time to get there.
It's a morning game, they honestly, like, they started better than, that I've seen early on in those games.
Moving the ball, to be fair.
So it was just, operation necessarily wasn't all the way executed. Momentum, slowly dried out the closer you got into, scoring territory. And that can be fixed. So it was frustrating because it was things that we've seen done at a high level or at an efficient level, like that. it's not getting done now. So it's not like, oh my God, here we go again. It's like, I've seen y'all done that. I've seen y'all execute certain things through 4 weeks, positive, pretty good. And it's like, this team isn't technically what you faced, at least they're not Colorado. They're not Illinois, it's just, like, why are y'all kind of letting certain things, trip you up and whatnot? But they consistently, regardless, it might have, slowed down and died out. They came back, moved it again. It's just, it wasn't enough, capitalizing and establishing stuff early on. And I think, coming out of half, it was more so after a switch up that I've been saying to do since the beginning. And those type of games, what that type of running back can offer some momentum, stability going forward. He's not necessarily dancing or anything like that. He's a downhill true running back. It kind of, sparked stuff to where now certain things are going. Your offense was flowing, the ends arounds, the jet sweeps, and everything like that. It's certain things that you had to respect because they were starting to hit, and it opens everything else up. And they didn't have an identity necessarily in the first half. They did things and whatnot. Stuff got called back. Bad calls or whatever. Fine and dandy. Bad procedure with field goal stuff and everything like that. Again, you can't even have consistent play enough to where in your back pocket you can hang your hat on at least 3. That can get you out of a lot of trouble. You get 2 of those and that touchdown doesn't get called back. We high 30s, 40s. Completely different. So it wasn't anything that Purdue was doing. It was more so of, okay, us playing consistent football. We have yet to put together a full game of consistent play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's that part for me, right? We have yet to put a full game together yet. And you could argue that that's what happened versus Illinois, right? Like, you played pretty good, but there's some moments there where you weren't playing to your best self and you're, slipping back a little bit, and that's how Illinois runs away with it. Yeah, I mean, this first half, it's tough because, like, the penalties were certainly just not doing you any favor. Some of them self-inflicted, some of them through our rant, clearly just the wrong call to make. You erase points off the board. What do you make those field goals? Like, when you watch those back, like, who's at fault there? Obviously, you want Hole to make the kick, but there was times where even Rule talking about the hold, the snap as well, not being where it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's tougher for the holder to get ready, and then Hole having to hesitate, or is he just not getting it high enough? Like, where are you seeing the problems within that field goal team?
I would say, at first, the snapping, because I did see that a couple times and everything like that. You're used to, a rhythm and everything like that. So by the time, even if you got to wait, a half a second extra more or whatnot, that's, closer, that the line is getting closer to it. And you can talk about the height or whatnot, but honestly, once it gets passed over the center's head, it's out of that area, of blocking. So I'm not so much saying, the kicker, because we've seen him make extra points. He made extra points, was fine and dandy and everything like that, as long as the operation was set and done. So I'm not pointing the finger at just one person. More so, it's just more so the unit. That operation wasn't as good, and it led to what it led to.
Yeah, if you're the guys, it's like, to me, on the bright side, it's easy. Like, hey, let's spend some time after practice. Let's just get this down. Like, we got to make sure we get some reps here so that when you snap the ball, it's always in sync. I know exactly where it's going to be for the hold, and Hole's comfortable, and he doesn't have to worry about hesitating. Like, you just get all that mental extra thought out of your head. Like, just get all the possibility that you need to think about it out of there, and just execute it enough in practice to where you just do it. You don't have to think about it. You just go ahead and kick the damn ball. And I think it's a team thing. The only thing that scares me is you think Rutgers, and going forward, that, like, this is going to be a problem now, in my opinion, just because I think we're going to have some teams really gunning for it, licking their chops. In a lot of these special team situations, even if we're going for a punt, I think we're going to start seeing the house a lot more than not.
Absolutely. Again, you have 2 momentum swing plays on special teams, or two explosive plays on special teams, like that could be the game. You can get points, off of those plays, whether that's a block punt, a scoopless score, whether that's, a punt return, kick return, a fumble recovery of something, if you fumble a kickoff, at the 30 and you get it in, let's just say the defense stops them, they don't continue to score, you at least got 3 points. So that can, swing the stuff of the game. So it's one of those things, as I said, like if it doesn't get consistently, like people will start to set up and design certain things to get, those type of returns that we've seen, with Colorado and everything like that. It can happen. It takes the wrong thing to happen, and next thing you know, you're on the opposite side of that. And whether that's kick coverage, not tackling, or out kicking your coverage or whatever. Same thing with kicking off, like not tackling and stuff. Those block, field goals getting picked up in return. We've scored off of those in years past, off of a block field goal, so the fact that you've seen it consistently, best believe, the other opposing teams are going to be scheming up and doing something to confuse people's eyes, and hopefully, get some type of chaos on multiple special teams unit.
Yeah, we're certainly going to see it, though. My opinion, like just teams trying to gun for it. I do feel iffy on like if we're actually going to be able to fix it to the point to where it's consistent. Like I don't expect anything to be as bad as what it was versus Purdue. But just make it reasonably efficient at this point. Like just whoever's at fault there, if you don't want to name names, if you're Ed Foley, like you got to figure that room out at this point. Like it should have been fixed in the preseason. And we're kind of just going through the same woes year two. Now there's some wrinkles in there. It's like, I'll give you, some excuses, and the fact that not having Alvano, I think, is a way bigger deal.
For sure.
We realized it, especially now, hindsight being 2020. But when we get him back, what does it look like? Does he need to shake some rust off? So I think it is unfortunately going to be an area where it's going to be kind of a coin toss every single time going forward if we win that phase of the game or not. Offensively, I don't know where to make this game. Like you look at the stats and the numbers look fine. You see 419 total yards. You see 257 through the air, 161 on the ground. And then you go to third down efficiency. You're 1 for 8 there, but you did manage to pick up 25 first downs. What'd you make of the offensive performance, considering they were moving the ball, even despite everything we're saying? Like they were moving the ball pretty much from the jump.
It was decent, there was some meat left on the bone. When you have the Illinois that you playing, you have these Rutgers that you're going to play, you have Indiana, who's also undefeated, coming in and everything like that. Those possessions, you couldn't not afford to have those. And like, yeah, you're squeaking by, and it's kind of like, oh, you kind of overlooking at it, but that can be a thing that we've been on the other side of those, of those like losses that, one possession of this and this and that of stuff. So he's a freshman quarterback. And I mean, it's not necessarily him. It's just overall like the identity of the offense of keeping things in rhythm. You can move the ball up and down, the field and everything like that. And I know the penalties, brought some points off the board, but you get to that point and it's just like, you don't finish the drive. When you're playing, some of these teams that are coming up, Wisconsin, Ohio State and everything like that, you can't afford to do that against those teams because it'll get ugly quick. And, it was a very long time for, it to look the way it finished. A lot of people were probably a little bit concerned, coming out of halftime and everything like that until probably, Bullock got the pick six and kind of was like, okay, everybody kind of took a break then. Because you're playing better teams. You're playing teams that, are physical, are competitive and everything like that. You need, just because you win time of possession, just because you win, this and that, the stats look good and everything like that, it can be troubling because it's like, You did all of that and you only scored 28 points. And sometimes that might not save you. It saved you then because Purdue, wasn't necessarily a problem team. Like, it should have been way worse than what it was, but you can't afford to leave those points out there on the board because when it's better competitions, when it's a bigger opponent and everything like that, those type of things can come in and haunt you. And hopefully, we get it out sooner than later. And, this week coming up, hopefully, like I said, complete dominance, all three phases of the game, complete dominance for a full game. And you kind of have that, new establishing as what things are. And not to say that, that they can't do it. They've seen flashes, we've seen it. It's just doing that, more consistently, which I think they can. Is just, the team is just still learning and shaking, some of the old off and kind of finding out what the new identity and new shell is.
Yeah. And that's, I think the way you said it earlier is probably the best way. You just left a lot of meat on the bone. But you look at all these drives, you're at Purdue's 39. You end up taking a bunch of penalties to back it up because Buschini ends up having to punt it. That one, I understand why you take the penalties, just the way you rack it up. And then the next one, you miss the field goal. Then Purdue does you a favor. They said, we'll match your missed field goal for one of our own. The next time you punt it again, you're punting it at Purdue's 37 because you're looking at a 4th and 18. Then you got another missed field goal. And then the next time you punt it at Purdue's 43, and then you get to the end of half. And then things finally open up. Obviously, Purdue has the ball for a little bit to get the field goal, but then you get a touchdown, interception, and Purdue gets one more kind of garbage time touchdown. But like that part where it's just like you're constantly in opponent's territory and you're just shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again. We got to throw at the break here, but I will say, I was looking at the stats. I see Will Levis already managed to throw one pick, but the Titans do have a lead. Is this the first win of the season for the Tennessee Titans, DeMornay Pierson-El?
We'll see.
I'm gonna call it for him here. I think they got this one covered. If they don't figure this one out tonight, it could be a long season for
Miami's still a good team. Still a good team. They got a Pro Bowler at quarterback, so don't think, oh, this is easy. It ain't.
I mean, fair enough. We'll see what happens. I mean, you were right about your guy, Sam Darnold. He's killing it. Vikings are just loving the world right now on the NFC North. Bears got back to 2-2, but we're not going to go all NFL yet. We're going to keep talking some Husker football in particular. I think it's fair to talk about that Husker defense. They came alive, especially at the end, really just shutting Purdue up until that kind of garbage time touchdown. So don't go anywhere. We're going to keep it rolling here on the Don't Punt Tower with the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El, streaming in.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G35609. Must trade.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Still using that old, outdated office phone system? You need better. At Hamilton, we offer solutions for the modern office. Whether you have an office full of staff or your employees work remotely and are on the go, seamless call handling is important. Elevate your communication and connect seamlessly with clients and staff with Hamilton Business Phone Systems. Choose better and hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Old School with DP and J.
And, this part of camp it happens in high school camp, when they have a certain amount of time before their game, before school starts and all that. And then it happens in college and it happens in the pros. I had more fights with some of my good friends, the guys that I'm considered lifelong friends at this point in camp, than with some over-energized rookie trying to make a name for himself. Seriously.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in to the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Come ticket weeknights as always. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. We got NFL on the brick and mortar. And I do believe we have the Tennessee Titans and Dolphins game on there, which, hey, Dolphins scored, so that, might be a good game. I'm sure most people probably would have picked the latter, but you never know. This one could end up being an exciting one. Good morning, Pierson-El. We kind of talked about the offense. Let's talk about the defense. In particular, John Bullock pops off another great game. Even if you take that pick 6 away, Bullock's been awesome. He is just putting a string of games together. What'd you really enjoy throughout this defense? For me, it's Bullock. He's the kind of the guy for the day, at least on that side of the ball.
If he doesn't have all Big Ten honors, first team, I don't care how, regardless of record or whatever, it's not a popularity contest. It's skill and what they contribute. If he is not first team all Big Ten, there's an issue. There's an issue. He is arguably top 3, and he ain't number 3 in the conference. I don't care what anybody says. However you want it, he's delivering it. He's coast to coast, south, east, west. It doesn't matter. He is a heat-seeking missile, and whatever he can do coverage. He can catch it and run one back. He's a smart, instinctive player. He is a bright spot. I think he has a strong future at the next level. He is a bona fide player. I think so.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I knew he was good heading into the season. I think everybody was really happy that he's got another year with him, part of this black shirt defense. He was the leader last year. He got even better this year. he looks incredible. And then what surprised me was he's got some serious speed to him.
Yeah.
When he picked that up, it's one thing.
He one time, but he still ain't. A shoestring didn't tackle, didn't get him down. But it's you. Opposing teams have to figure out and identify, what's up and where he's at.
Yeah, because like you said, he can tackle, he can play coverage. He's smart. I think especially on that side of the ball, that position in particular, you better have your wits about you. And he just checks all the boxes. So I don't think it's too high praised at all. Big Ten honors. I think right now he certainly sticks out. And if you say he doesn't, I think you'd be lying to yourself and you're not watching the tape because
at all.
He was good before this game. Before the pick 6, he's been awesome.
I'm telling you, it's just his game is like layers of onions. How you peel it back and it's just another layer. As long as he keeps stacking days, stacking weeks, and everything like that, I think when it comes to an end, like I said, he's operating on a different level. I think he's the heartbeat of the defense, regardless of what anybody says. I understand Nash, I understand Polar Bear, I got them, but it starts with him. He is an enforcer. He is a tone setter. He's everywhere. You can't stop him. He's shedding blocks. He's running through people. He's closing, filling holes. Running backs aren't falling forward when he's in the picture. That's period. And that's something that you can consistently see, on film. So, like I said, when it's all said and done, he is a good one.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, what the next chapters of his career looks like if he ends up panning out at the pro level. Because he's going to have a case for it if he keeps playing the way he is. All right, let's talk about the other, I don't want to say unsung hero because he's certainly getting his praises now. On the offensive side of the ball, Dylan Rail, obviously, I want to give him his credit. He played a really good game. Again, no turnovers, fantastic, took care of it. There was penalties that didn't do you any favors. There was phantom calls. And he wasn't really a big part of any of those penalties, and he did a good job, forcing them to throw that flag for pass interference. Can't blame him for this missed field goals. He did what he needed to get him in position.
For sure.
Emmett Johnson, though, I think the offense got going finally when he was put into the game. That run game all of a sudden became reliable. All of a sudden it started popping off. To me, it felt like kind of been waiting forever. Get him back in there. I don't know why we didn't see him against Illinois. Ramir Johnson is great. Dowdle's great. You got a bunch of capable backs. They're all capable backs, but he's sticking out to me, and I just don't know why he keeps getting swept under the rug.
Through these first couple of games, it's been a little bit difficult to identify, what the run game can hang their hat on. scheme wise, it's counter, stretch, ISO, duo. It's been hard to, kind of figure out in some games, it was there and whatnot because the opponent wasn't, up to par. But I think he has been a bright light. He has been, a catalyst of, if you want to have a dominant run game week in and week out, he needs to be the guy. Nothing against Dodell, nothing against, Ramirez. They all play differently. But I'm telling you, what he brings to the game, neither one of those two do it. Yep. He is a straight up running back. He's a downhill runner. He's a physical runner. He doesn't need much for him to get going. He just needs a crease. He just needs, just do your job, and he'll make the offensive line look better than what they are. And I think with you gave a whole half, really, majority of the third quarter to other people to kind of figure things out and whatnot. He hangs his hat on, running downhill, run north and south. There's no juke here, hop out of this hole. And there's not, a lot of excitement to his game, which I think that's what the other two kind of bring. And that's, he can break out speed, this and this and this and that. But he is the consistent runner, period. He will open the offense up for you. He will have, Satterfield not panicking and be able to have a clear mind to call things and to get the offense in right positions. I think they played UTEP. Like I said, the run he had where he split the defenders and, didn't get tackled. We've still yet to see that by any one of the other two backs. I think the offensive identity operates and comes alive when he's on the field. The more touches and the more rhythm he gets, the better the offense goes. It's all about, excitement. It's about rhythm. It's about being consistent. If he breaks off the run and everything like that, look at the guys, behind him catching up to him and everything like that. Completely different from the energy that we've had and seen them, over the other things. And then next thing, what do you know? Satterfield's calling other stuff. It feels like, all right, something's coming. It's just only a matter of time. So I haven't quite seen that with the other backs. And that's nothing against them. Like, they're good in their own rate. But when Emmett is in there, and I spelled his name wrong on Twitter, I apologize. With an I spelled it with an I know it's with an E. I take that. But when he's out there, the offense moves more consistently. He's not, running backwards. He's always falling forward. He's making people miss whatever. He's shifty. He's not the shifty that you see from Dodell. But he's still not the first guy. Still isn't tackling him.
Well, it's one move, though. Like you said, what it makes it good for me is like if he makes a move, it's like one move and go. There's no hesitation
at all. And so, I mean, you can't go broke making a profit, and he always makes a profit. Not to say that the other ones don't, but more times of him out there, again, the offense comes alive. It's more consistent. Like I said, him out there, I think Satterfield will get out of his panic head and not kind of know where to go and kind of get things settled in and whatnot. And Dylan has done fine with moving the ball and everything like that, but I think the offense will go to another level when Emmett is in, that he consistently pushes the offense and moves the offense, down the field. So I think his role definitely needs to increase more, because if you gave him, a quarter beforehand from when he did take over, it might the first half, second quarter might have not looked how it had been, if he was in there.
I agree. I just think, when you have him in there, and give Corey Barney his flowers too, because what he's able to do on any of those motions where he's heading out to the outside with the ball, you can tell it's stressing the hell out of those defenses out. When they got to worry about that, if they see Barney coming across the defense, it's already thinking about working out field, but then you got Emmett Johnson coming up the middle. I mean, I think that's where you give Satterfield and see a lot of success. But yeah, you talk about Emmett Johnson, like he fits that perfectly. Maybe you don't want to use the pass, but like he proved it last year. You know, he was that guy last year for you. This year he's doing it again. Again, all of the running backs, I like them all. You know, you give credit to the running back coach for having 4 guys, in my opinion, that are capable. And I think, you know, Ramir Johnson's probably going to be the better receiving back, but we saw Emmett Johnson look pretty good out there running routes as well yesterday, making some big plays. The one that got turned back with the call from Banks, which, you know, another phantom call, quote unquote. But you talk about the disappearing act, like the last time we really got to see him outside of Purdue was that UNI game. And the stats would tell you if he's not 1A, he's 1B, but he's certainly up there because only 4 carries. He picks up 50 yards with it with the average of 12.5. Now, Dante played fine as well. He had 6 carries for 55 yards. But if you do the math, like you're still looking at Emmett as probably the better back there. And then if you go over again to this Purdue game, he's probably the better. He is the better back. He gets 8 carries for. Oh, hold on. Let me get 8 carries. There we go for 50 yards, and then you see Dowdell for 9 carries, and he only picks up the 21 yards.
And it's crazy that Emmett got you all the way down there. You gave Gabe, you gave Gabe an opportunity to score, which you only see him in goal line, which is crazy.
I know.
And then you know you give it to Dodell, but it's like, man, you can't reward my guy, you know, with that. Like I said, I've been standing on the table since the beginning. Like I said, I understand it may be, you can say bland, you can say vanilla, you can say boring and everything like that. He's consistent.
And efficient.
He consistently improves and moves the offensive line. And with a freshman quarterback, with the schedule and the people that we have coming up to play, I'm telling you, that's one thing that can be a deciding factor from, you know, the game, the offensive coordinator may be panicking, or you might not even be in that mood with a guy like that on the offensive side, because he's going to always have you on track. Not to say that the other guys aren't, but it's a different vibe. You know, that's like going to Dairy Queen and getting a Blizzard or whatnot. But, you know, McDonald's still got an M&M McFlurry that's pretty good, an Oreo McFlurry that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They in the same category, but it's, you know, my heart is with the Oreo McFlurry. I don't care about DQ. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't. You got all these other flavors of what I don't care. You know, just give me what I consistently know, and I think that's what Emmett is. Like I said, I think he takes the offense to another level to where you will see I think Dylan's numbers will go through the roof even more. Because I mean, if those certain things didn't happen, you know, he'd have had, you know, another passing touchdown. He'd have had more yardage on the screen pass and everything like that. So, like I said, I think everybody just benefits necessarily from it. And then the change up, you know, once you kind of battered and bruised and whatnot, then you can have, you know, 1B in there to speed them up. And then you got the jet sweeps. And now it's coming from all angles, and people are frustrated, pissed off, and you dominating them on one side of the ball. Defense is doing their thing, and now you're imposing your will on 2 out of the 3 phases of the game, and you know you're imposing your will on people, and that, you know, will get things back to how it's supposed to be or how it should look like.
Yeah, and you know, talk about the leading back of yesterday was 2 days ago. Ja'Cory Barney, 4 carries for 66 yards, an average of 16.5. He picks up the touchdown as well. I mean, DeMornay, how good is this guy? I think we were, and not even, you know, that it's anybody's fault. Everybody knew he was a talent, but I mean, man, he's on the scouting report for everybody that plays Nebraska. Yeah, and that started a while ago.
Easily. Again, he's every time he's touched the ball, you know, it's something, you know. He's exciting to watch. Like I said, he reminds me a lot of Wandale. Wandale was doing the same things. He looks way faster than Wandale. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, you got that, you know, you got that in the mix with stuff. People are going to have a lot of discipline, and are going to have a lot of responsibilities. if those two are in the game at the same time. Because like I said, you can run it, you can run ISO, or, you can run counter or whatever stretch, and, Emmett is going to do what he's going to do. The next thing you know, you can fake toss it and he's coming back on a reverse and your eyes going this way. Before you know it, he's 5 yards or 3 yards down across the line and 16 yards ahead of you. So, I mean, it's issues. I mean, it's versatility in the offense. And it's just, I think he would definitely, see an upkeep of things. But I think his game will pop off even more if Emmett is in the game more with, bruising people and having people worried about covering this gap, that gap. Then you got, the speedster that can come outside, that can throw a quick screen and he can take off and do different types of things. I think like I said, it gives the offense consistency. It gives them, versatility, and it makes them fun. It makes it fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, the last guy that probably came here with like somewhere close to that breakout speed is like Trey Palmer. Now, the different styles, but just kind of that speed you see of like when they catch a few steps, it's pretty much over. I don't know, couldn't tell you which one's faster, but man, when I watched Corey Barney, when he catches that edge, I'm going to be curious to see, which one of these teams has some players to match his speed if he actually breaks out to the open field again, because he's just going to be a problem. Again, being a freshman all at the same time as well. It's a good thing to have. And I think when you do watch this Rule team, you are seeing a lot of this young depth that's promising. And I think for me, that gives me a lot of hope going forward. Even though we have some ugly, rough start against Purdue, you still found a way to win the game. We're sitting here 4-1, and the young guys look really good.
Like for them to be able to finish through that and push that, will be good for them later on in the season. Because when games are tough, when the games are difficult, or things aren't going right or whatnot, you've been in a place and you can kind of get yourself out of the hole. So, like I said, I'm happy it's kind of getting out of the way early on, because, like I said, you get to that middle to later part of the schedule, that can come in handy with just being experienced and understanding, certain situations like that. So I rather it gets out of the system early on, and you can kind of use that as a catalyst to get things done later in the season. So like I said, we've been on the other side of that to where it hasn't gone that way, and we've lost by 3 points or a turnover late or something like that. So like I said, it's trending up. It's going in a direction that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are happy to see. You can pick point or pick apart other things or whatnot. Again, it's still in the early stages, and the team doesn't look anything like how we are accustomed to see it, or it did look like how it looked last year.
Yeah, and final thing for me is kind of what you said to start the beginning of the show, is just put it all together, one full game. Because the final thing I'm going to ask before we get out of here, why you got to put it together for one full game, even if it isn't going your way, don't panic. The thing that Nebraska made sure not to do against Purdue was they didn't panic at the very least. And you give the same kind of credit to Alabama. They come back and beat Georgia. This is why you're never out of these ball games. I mean, you got to just stay humbled and wired throughout these entire things. Give me your quick thoughts. Alabama, Georgia. Alabama slides up. I think they are, number one in the AP poll.
I mean,
they're back on top.
That might be the game of the year.
It was awesome.
You typically see that type of game, the Iron Bowl. Honestly, so I mean, it's you play a full game and you see what it can look like. Because I thought for sure Georgia had it, and they were getting
roaring back.
But I mean, the will to fight and get back into things and whatnot, especially when you got a good defense on both sides. It wasn't. I know what the score was and everything like that, but you got to remember that they got a lot of guys that's going to go on and play on the NFL on both teams.
Oh, yeah.
So just sharpening your tools for that and everything like that. Like I said, it builds you ready. It gets your team ready for those type of moments later on down the field. Alabama has still some SEC games still to play and whatnot. So does Georgia and whatnot. And we've done a good job. We've played a talented team in Colorado. And I know we got Ohio State, coming up, USC with a lot of talented dudes, but we've been capable of, shutting out high explosive, offense. So as long as offense continues to do their part and play, a whole consistent game, I feel comfortable with competing with a lot of teams, in college football.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, college football's been off to an awesome start.
Love
I will
this.
say, though, can you imagine if Georgia and Alabama had bad officiating? Like, that would be such an ugly sight. That's why you got to get that stuff right, because when in games like that, man, you can't be having bad calls. And again, when you get those SEC matchups, you see it all the time, at least in my opinion. I think the officiating, for whatever reason, they certainly got an edge on it. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for us. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again tomorrow. Up next, we got Spare Time with a couple of Husker Bowlers. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep things rolling.